Book 2, welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and it's time for an update. The first update of March. Sorry, it's been 5 days since I did my update, but, I was kind of tired. I need to chill for a little bit, and then work. I went back to work, and then it took me, I had to refilm my wrap-up for January and February twice, because things happened, and the first time my computer for some reason would not take it, did not, even though I saw it filming, my camera was, I saw it filming, I saw the numbers, the timer and everything, but when I ended it, there's nothing on the little, there's no image on the little screen that said it, there was anything there. And so I tried it again, and I kind of got interrupted, so I got interrupted, so I had to film a third time, and the third time I tried to be more, talk a little bit faster, not speed things, not be speedy, but just be a little more, efficient. That's the only word I can think of to, so that it would, make sure that it would take the whole thing. But then it could have also been that my computer had too much stuff and I needed to delete some things. I don't know. But that's only the second time that has happened. And both times it infuriated me, but that's okay. I gotta make sure, I just gotta figure out why. And I don't know. But anyway. So, as far as what I'm reading, I'm trying to be more participatory in March with Mammoths. There are books that are shorter that I'm tempted to pick up, but I'm trying to focus on these longer books, or at least make progress in them. One of them being The Light of All That Falls by James Islington. What I'm hoping to do is, when I'm done with the whole trilogy, to donate it to Gibbons. And like I said, when I donate stuff, that doesn't always mean I don't love it, or that I didn't enjoy it and then I didn't like it. It's more that I've decided I'm probably not going to read it again, and I could always buy it again one day. And I've even started to consider that some of these things that I changed my mind about after I've already sent them away to, donated them, is that I can buy them on Kindle if I'm still interested. And that way it won't take up space on my shelf. Because I still am limited on how much space I have. I can't keep buying shelves. And as you guys know, the last shelf I got was the only reason why I got it. It was free. So, anyway. Oh, I'm enjoying this. I think this is really good so far. As I'm reading it, I'm already nervous about, when I finish it and then get to my review, I'm gonna have trouble, because I don't remember the previous books. And so it's a lot is going on, and having to explain things, and it's hard for me, like I said, it's hard for me to review epic fantasy books, because there's so much going on in the stories. And then if it's a series, if it's a standalone, I would do better. But if it's a part of a series, when there's a trilogy or more than 3-book series, there will be a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily remember, and a lot of the backstory. And what I might do is, when I'm finished it, also do a see if there's any recap videos. I know I had when I had to, back with Way of Kings and everything by Brandon Sanderson, I watched Irene J from Captured in Words doing his recap of the first book, just to, refresh my memory of things. And so I might do that before I review this book, just to get, or at least watch someone's review of it, just to get an idea on my feeling, get some of the stuff that I might not remember about the book, about the 3 books. But, although James Islington does do, I think, was it in this one, or no, I'm actually, let's see, does he? Okay, yeah. So he is an author who does a in the beginning of the book, kind of he does his own recap, like refresh my memory. So I could reread that. That's what I might do that as well. Even though if it might not exactly, at least it'll give me get the wheels spinning a little bit just to figure out. But it's hard to remember exactly. Like, I remember the feelings, but it's remembering the specific things to be able to write a really good, thorough review is what I struggle with. I don't know. Does anyone else have this problem? Like where you struggle with reviewing these kinds of books, and I like I said, I don't mean as in you love it so much you just can't stop gushing about it, but I mean like as in you just just struggle with remembering specifically what you liked and being able to understand in a way that you can review it in a thorough way, in a a objective way. I don't know if I'm even making any sense with that, but like I said, I'm curious if anyone else has this same problem as I do. But anyway, so once I'm done with this, once I'm finished, that will be another trilogy completed. I have not picked up Lord of the Rings yet. The Fellowship of the Ring, I should specifically say. So far, all that's happened is that the hobbits have gone into Bree, and they've met Strider, aka Aragorn, and the what are those guys called? So let's say I cannot remember what. Where is it? Can't remember what those guys are called. I'm trying to find the word of what those guys are called. I do not remember the shadow riders, or what, ring wraiths. I think that's what they are, ring wraiths. These guys showed up at the inn, trying to find Frodo. But as other people have probably said, there's a little bit more that happens in the actual story that is not included in the movie. And in fact, like, I guess that Strider's a lot more laid back he's still like concerned and worried and stuff, and like trying to warn them, but he's a little more easygoing in the he's a little more laid back and easygoing in the book than the way Viggo Mortensen plays him in the movie. And so that's the first difference that comes to mind. Along with it, there's a lot more details in between Bree and Weathertop. There's a lot more stuff going on. We get more of their time at the inn / pub, and Prancy Pony, I guess it's called. And we meet the barkeep, and we get to know him a little bit more, and his assistant or whatever, Knob. And then we find out we meet some characters, residents of Bree, who kind of sell them out. Like, we do get a glimpse of that in the movie, but we actually interact with those characters a little bit more. So there's obviously more stuff in there, little things that I've noticed so far that are different from the movies. But, with the movie, they have to have more action, more stuff going on. They have to, really pick up the pace. They can't take their time as much. Like, if they decided to, if it was a TV show, then maybe they could get away with doing a little bit closer to the book with some of that kind of stuff. But because it's a movie, they have to pick up the pace, and they have to change the tension and the action and the falling action and all that. They can't take their time and really spend time in one place unless all the action takes place there, which in this case it's not. It doesn't. Like, they travel a lot. And I know it was reminded to me that, that it takes them a lot more time before they get to Weathertop, while in the movie they get there with, in 5 minutes. So, but as I always say, I like both. I enjoy the movies, and even if I see the differences of the book, it's not going to change my mind how I feel about the movie. I'm still going to love it. And I've listened to the audiobook anyway of the whole trilogy. Not the one with Andy Serkis, but an older audiobook. I would love to listen to the one with Andy Serkis. And I even heard that he actually does impressions of, when he does the characters, they sound like he makes them sound like the ones in the movie, the way they sound in the movie, the actors who play them in the movie. He does those versions of the voices, not like makes up completely different ones, but does what he's familiar with and what he probably suspects that fans will like in a newer take on the story. What a lot of people are familiar with. So I would love to get that audiobook. Which that'd be fun to, spend my money on. I should see how much that cost to get the audiobook for Lord of the Rings with that version of it. I don't know, I'll have to check and see how much that is, because I will have to get that version. Anyway, so I did start reading of Light and Darkness by Ryan Cahill. I think that's what the second book in the Bound and Broken series is called, on my Kindle. And now last night I went to bed kind of late because I was watching a YouTube video on Shameless, actually. So I ended up going to bed late, and it was a long video, so I didn't get in bed until midnight, and then I ended up, it took me a little bit to fall asleep, even though I chose not to read, which that's what I'm getting at, that I chose not to read anything right before I went to bed, and just decided to try to go to sleep, but I, of course, still didn't fall asleep necessarily right away. It took me a little bit to get into, fall into dreamland and all that. So I didn't do any reading. I was about to. I thought about doing it, but I was like, I'm too tired, and it's midnight, and I need to get some sleep. But right away in the book, the first chapter, first we get a recap, like James Islington did in his book. Ryan Cahill gives us a recap of what happened in the last book, and in his prequel novella, the Fall, which I just realized that the situation with Amazon and Kindle right now, that people are upset about and everything, with not being able to download stuff anymore, I think it does affect me a little bit, or I thought it did. Actually, because I didn't see the Fall at first. Because I thought that meant, maybe because I downloaded that. But then, I saw it again. And I think, now that I think about it, it's because I downloaded it from somewhere else and not from them. And I think it means you downloading your Kindle books to another place. So I think that's why I still have it. But I thought I got taken from me, but I didn't get it from them. So maybe that's why I still have it. But anyway, and so in the first chapter, the first couple chapters, we are dropping right into the action. It picks up right where it left off, where, the characters are right away in battle. They're fighting, and they're fighting the enemy and everything, their enemy and stuff. They're in the middle of a battle and everything, and so right away they drop you Ryan Cahill drops you right into the action. But, what actually reminded me to start reading it, because you guys know I'm reading Blackwater on there as well, but I'm stopped reading it to take a break from it. And I decided to finally pick up Of Light and Darkness is because I'm subscribed to get the free download. He asked us to subscribe to the newsletter, his newsletter, which I'm wondering. I hope that's not with the other novellas that you have to subscribe to something or do something. I mean, I appreciate, that nothing's free or anything, but I don't want to keep. I'm apprehensive about subscribing or doing, subscribing to places just to get the novella. Like, especially because the fall wasn't exactly it was kind of a disappointment. I mean, I don't regret getting it because it did give me some backstory. But it wasn't like, if I hadn't read it, I don't think it would have been I could always look up what happened in the fall, probably. But anyway, so what was I gonna say? So, well, anyway, okay, now I remember. So I got the newsletter, so I'm subscribed to his newsletter, and it reminded people that his latest book in the series, Dust and Storms, I think it's called, is coming out. And the ebook will be out a little bit later. So that reminded me, oh, I gotta pick up that book. That's right. So, and like I said, it was taking me, the Blackwater is taking me a while to read. So, it's a little bit of a slower book. Like, there's not a lot of action in it. It's more about this town and the people and this family and their relationship with each other, especially their like the relationship that Mary Ellen, or no, what? I can't remember but anyway, the relationship with these two matriarchs of this family, because Eleanor, I think, she's now kind of a matriarch, and that she's butting heads with her husband's mom, who does not trust her or like her, and they're kind of they're struggling and fighting over power over the family. I feel like, that's where, but it's very character driven kind of horror story, because there are horror elements. So yeah, it's taken me a little bit long to read. I'm still enjoying it, but I decided to take a break and read something else, and that way, I can feel, that I've accomplished something and read a lot of the ebooks that I bought, and so I can, add to it and buy other ebooks. And I did decide that some of the certain books that I've asked for, I'm gonna put them on Kindle, like the John Adams' Life. I cannot think of the author who wrote that book, but since I already have, I figure instead of having two physical books on biographies on John Adams, one I'll have the John Adams by David McCullough on my shelf, and then I will have the other one, John Adams' Life, on my Kindle. That way it won't take up as much space. Because like I said, I still gotta be a little more practical about that. Because yeah, I'm never gonna probably go cold turkey with buy. I'm not gonna ever go on a no buy year. And, I'm thinking that the solution could partly, having a Kindle or any e-reader, if I ever decide not to, to change from Kindle to something else. I can have I can use that e-reader for other books that I want to buy, but, it will be a waste. I won't take up space on my shelf, but I guess I'll have them. Even if I don't own them. So what else is going on right now? So those are some of the mammoths I'm reading, because all those books are pretty big books. But I doubt I'll finish them. I did finish one book, although I started it in February. I finished Humphrey Carpenter's biography on Tolkien, and I really enjoyed that. That was a really great, very enlightening. Got me very much. That was, very much excited to, that's what finally got me to pick up Lord of the Rings again. And also, I was just feeling so stressed because I was trying to decide when I wanted to read next for my Tolkien project. And I was looking at videos that were, talking about, how you should read the books, like what order you should read all Tolkien's work. And I was thinking one of the books that they often say you read after, like, well, first of all, they were all saying after you read The Hobbit, you should read Lord of the Rings. And, like, look, this is, and even if I got these as 3 individual books, it would still take me a long time to read. I still would not get this done, even if it was 3 separate books within the month. Not that I'm trying to, now I don't mean as in I have to get the whole trilogy done, but within, all 3 volumes done within the month, but, I'm like thinking I want to get this all read and then read another Tolkien related book after I've read this whole thing. I still don't know if I'll do that yet or not, because like I said, look at this, it's huge, and like I said, this encompasses 3 parts, like, and when it's separate, it's 3 chunky books. So it was like people said read Lord of the Rings, and then people also said to read. There were some people said read Children of Hurin next after you read the original trilogy, the original 3-part book. And I didn't think I had that one yet because I decided to buy the Baron and Luthien book first. And then a lot of people were saying on this video, oh, you should read, after Lord of the Rings, you should read The Children of Hurin, and I didn't have it. And then someone pointed out that it's actually in, what is that book called? Not Lost Tales, but one of the ones that's like an anthology. The Unfinished Tales. It's in that collection. So I was relieved about that I at least have access to it. And I'm kind of going back and forth. Do I buy a separate copy of that one and then also have the other one? And what I should look through the Unfinished Tales and see what's in there, because I might not have to buy any more separate copies of some of these. But anyway, so do I buy a separate? So I'm like thinking, do I buy a separate copy, or do I just stick to what just stick to the Unfinished Tales and not buy a separate copy of The Children of Hurin? Sorry, I'm trying to say it right, but I don't remember, and I don't remember 100% how people suggested I pronounced it. But anyway, so I do have that one, and I'm still kind of trying to decide what I want to read next. Do I do what other people have suggested and read that one next? And I'm wanting to understand why they recommend that one next. Is it because it's an easier level of reading, or is it for chronological reasons? Is it because events in that one, I'm definitely curious why they recommend reading that one, especially because I don't think that's the next book he wrote. The next one he wrote, or the next one he had published. I think Fall of Gondolin was first. But I think that one he published that before he started, while he was working on Lord of the Rings. So it's like I'm thinking, why? So I want to know why they would recommend reading certain ones before they read others. I'm kind of curious about that. So other than those, the only other book I am taking in is the audiobook for Legendborn. I'm finally listening to the audiobook. I saw it on the Libby app, so I figured go ahead, borrow it, and it took 6 weeks. Well, it probably took longer than that, but it finally came in March. It became available in March. So I'm currently listening to that one. That one is a young adult novel, and it is basically a retelling of the Arthurian legend. And so we have our main character Bree, and she's still grieving. Her mom just died. Her mom's in a car accident, and she's still grieving the loss of her mother. After it's been months, and she decides she wants to get away and can't stand being home. And she decides to take the opportunity to go away to, I think it's Chapel Hill. And you see Chapel Hill, it's a program where you can experience college early. You can start going to college early, because she's only 16. And when she's there, she actually, during a college party that she's not supposed to be at, she witnesses a demon attack. And finds out that there is a secret society in her school called the Round Table. And it turns out it's a school it's a secret society that is made up of the descendants of the Knights of the Round Table, Arthur and his knights. And that there are real demons in the world. And these kids fight them. And she finds out that her mom, the memories of her mom's death might have been messed with, and that her mom might somehow be connected to this secret society. And she decides, with help of one of the members, Nick, who was asked by the dean to kind of look out for her and make sure she doesn't, make sure she's on the right path and doesn't get into trouble again, that it turns out he is part of the secret society, and that he offers to help her infiltrate the secret society and find out what happened to her mother. And as the story progresses, this thing has gotten a lot bigger, and there's more involved, and there's even more mystery to Bree and why her mom is connected to this group. Also, the book deals with, Bree is a black girl, and so the book deals with racism, and there are some, people that are just such assholes to her and make her angry. And then even her best friend Alice, who does not understand her grief and really understand why she's, so different from the person that she knew. I was just I get kind of mad at her friends. I was like, what the heck? Just, you realize that everyone grieves differently, and your friend is, I get that you're worried about her, but she's angry, she is hurting and confused, and now she's finding all these things about her mom that she can't talk to anyone about. It's a secret society for a reason. And so I always feel bad for the main character, because, they're told, oh, you can't tell anyone, this is secret, you have to protect your loved ones. And then these people who tell them that, I know they got bigger problems, like trying to save the world and protect the world from evil forces, but I'm like, do you consider the possibility of what's going to happen, like how their friends and family are going to feel when they're like telling them, oh, I can't tell you anything, it's a secret, and they're coming back and they're injured, and they're, I guess they don't consider that this person is going to get injured. They're just going to do what they're told and stay out of trouble. But it's like, these people don't ever take that into consideration. Or take consideration that even if they do come up with some crazy lie to tell their friends and parents, and tell the person's parents, like, as to cover it up, how that lie might not look good, might still cause their parents to worry and be concerned and think they need to, Yeah, but it's always it's very frustrating when I read those parts of books, because I just feel so bad for the main character, wanting them to be able to tell them, and even if they do tell them, knowing that they're not going to believe them. Like, the struggle that a person feels in these kinds of situations where they have to tell where they know they can't tell their loved ones because and just trying and keeping that secret, knowing that they're putting their lives in danger, and that if they do tell them, they'll put their loved ones in danger. Although in those situations, the bad guys don't care. The enemy will go after them because they know they care about them. But anyway, so I am enjoying this so far. I think it is a trilogy, so I gotta look up what the next 2 books are called. But I do appreciate that her dad, he's not being too like her dad. I do appreciate her dad's involved, but he's not being too pushy about it, and he's trying to be understanding and patient with her. And I can understand his anger at her and frustration, and because he's scared and he's worried about her, but at the same time, I feel for Brie. I'm like, want to defend her and everything. So I also know there's a love triangle that's gonna come up, so I'm still trying to determine who's gonna be with. I mean, I think I have an idea of who's gonna be involved in the love triangle, but I don't know. I still don't know how it's gonna go. But I know it's coming. It's gonna be, or at least it's gonna be hinted at towards the end of this book, or at some point in this book. And I gotta say, I agree with some of the reviewers that are like that. One of their criticisms is, what is the point of Brie and her Allison being, I think that's her name, Allison, her friend, being 16, being high school students? I mean, they could have just made them college age, like early college age, like freshmen or something. Like, I don't see any, there's no point. But I guess you want to make it YA. And new adult is not, even though I think it should be a thing, and then there's a lot of books that I would classify in the new adult section. I guess they can't classify it as that. But, I mean, they could classify it as adult if they don't have a new adult. But I still think that they should have a new adult category. Because there's, like early 20s, late teens. I think they should have a, category for books like that. Because the young adult category is so broad. It's so wide. Like, it reaches from 12 to, 17. And not all of them are, some of them have mature content. And it's, so it's kind of frustrating, and it's kind of hard to determine, I think, what's appropriate. Like, so I don't know why they refuse to give us a new adult category. Like, is it, I just don't get it. I don't know why. They really need to have a new adult category. Anyway, so, that is how my reading is going right now. I hope your reading is going well for March, and you're reading some good reads, and I will talk to you all later. All right, bye!